Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. And this week we're going to be talking about the similarities between the top skills and traits that introverts have and how that relates to humility in the workplace. Let's get into it. So before we start off, I'm filming from a different location this week. I am out of town for work, and I just finished my first work day on the ground, and now I'm taking some time to make you all a new video for this week. So that explains why I'm not in my typical home office. Okay, so let's get into it. Just as the intro said, we're going to be talking about humility and introverts. And then we'll even talk a little bit about some extroverts towards the end of the video. But I wanted to first talk about and kind of explain what humility is in the first place. I know a lot of you have heard that word before. Some of you have maybe even heard the term being served a nice big piece of humble pie when kind of someone gets shown something, or shut down, or put in their place, or prove that they were wrong. And so they've got shown some humility there. But really, what humility is, it could be viewed as like a personality trait, but it's one of those few that could also be viewed as a skill that you can practice. And humility is about not being, overbearing, the center of attention, wanting to take charge and have all the focus on themselves, talk about their accomplishments and their success. Well, may or may not be putting other people down, or stepping on people, or stepping over people on the way. It's more about not being so pretentious, not trying to seek out, an audience to showcase your accomplishments. It's more about like being willing and open to listen to others and talk to others, look at different viewpoints. And it's also kind of equated to being more like down to earth, or respectful, or being intentional, like talking to people and like having a good conversation. That's both like understanding one's like feelings, and like being able to talk on a level that's makes you feel more comfortable, and like makes other people feel more comfortable being around you. And the reason why I wanted to make a video on that today is to talk about some of the similarities between humility and introverts. So let's talk about some of this few that I've done some research on here, and how introverts can use humility in the workplace. It kind of gives them the edge, and hopefully by the end of the video you're going to see why humility and introverts share a lot of these like common characteristics. And I think that's also why we could have an edge in the workplace over the traditional extroverts and these characteristics that a lot of people think are like preferential in the workplace environment, when in actuality a lot of these traits that business leaders and executives are looking for in an individual to be the next leader or the next generation, a lot of that comes from, one, humility, and two, a lot of traits that extroverts have, funny enough. So let's talk about some of those. So the first one is effective communication. So like I said before, introverts and those that practice humility, those that are more humble than others, are much more open to collaborative learning in a place where, one, if we're introverts, right, that doesn't necessarily always mean we like collaborative learning, but we do like small, tight-knit groups. But we're open to that communication, and we're open to listening to other people's thoughts and opinions. And sometimes other people's ideas could be better than our own, right? And so having that effective communication where we can clearly explain what we want, we're listening to other people, and they can explain what they want, and then we're okay, changing or pivoting to try to like get to the same outcome or work together to solve a problem. So the next one is continuous learning. So in the workplace, continuous learning is key, especially when it comes to your managers and above. They want to see a type of person that's going to continue learning and seeking things out on their own and like building their skill set. And that's part of something that introverts could use in terms of humility, right? So being able to understand that there may be something that we don't know, right? We're not experts in. Maybe it's something that's brand new to us and we came across it in our job or talking to a customer. And that's going to be something that we need to learn in order to, earn a new customer's business, or that may be something that you need to learn before you can even qualify for a promotion. So being able to acknowledge where you may have a weakness in a certain area, and then have the drive and the determination for that to become a strength. So being open to yourself, being true to yourself about knowing that is weakness, but wanting to do something about it and continue learning is a sign of humility that introverts could use to be successful in the workplace. So another one is building trust. And this comes down to conversating and working with other people, because humility has a certain, what I like to think is like calmness about it, like being able to open up and talk to other people. Introverts already have a better understanding of other people's feelings and what they're going through, and being able to want to understand someone's background and where they're coming from, right? And have that conversation that goes back and forth, that where you can learn from other people, and that helps people feel more comfortable with you. That helps build trust and rapport, and that could turn into a longer and stronger relationship at work. And that could also be a relationship that you build with your boss, or even higher level within the company, that could pay dividends in the future. We talked about this in a video that I just did, and it's about conflict resolution, because practicing humility with the combination of being an introvert is knowing when we're wrong, and being able to accept that we're wrong, and being willing to work to find a resolution or a compromise to get to a certain outcome that we need to. But being aware that we need to be open to other ideas, especially if we're the one in the wrong. But it can also work the other way, and that if someone else is in the wrong, it's how we communicate to that other individual and the other types of solutions that we could bring to the table, and have more of that collaboration rather than just putting someone down, right? Because that's typically not how introverts operate in the first place. But that's also an example of us using humility in that instance. So the next one is leadership effectiveness. Humility is probably one of the most important traits that a person can have when it comes to being a leader or a future leader. There's a lot of studies going on, and there's some studies that have been published that are starting to compare the differences between extroverts and introverts, specifically when it comes to a leadership position. Because extroverts typically will take charge. They could be more, sometimes they could be more overbearing, or even like micromanaging from a point of view, or they have been shown to like take others credit when someone on the team has done something great or increased revenue from the company. Or on the other hand, introverts, especially introverts practicing humility, are the ones that are more likely to work as like a team lead, like showing by example, putting individuals in places where their strengths can shine and how they can contribute to the overall team. And then everything is more revolved around how a team can come together to solve great things, and how that boosts the overall company's performance. And a lot of that is coming from the leader's personality and how they want their team to perform as a whole. So the combination of us using our introvert skills and humility can really be a game changer when it comes to a leadership position. And then the last one is emotional intelligence. So we've talked about this before. Again, this is another key trait to have or a skill to have when it comes to a leadership position in business. But emotional intelligence is understanding where, yes, there's going to be difficult times, difficult emotional times, stressful times. There's going to be deadlines that are going to have to be met. There's going to have to be people that you're going to have conflicts with. There's probably going to be people that you're going to have to fire at some point. And emotional intelligence is about how you can realize, what is going on with yourself, being able to self-reflect and understand, where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way? And how can I be resilient and move forward? So turn this into something positive that you can leverage to grow, rather than something that is detrimental that winds up holding you back. And that could be negative on your working environment with yourself and with others, that could ultimately lead to the downfall of you leaving the company or you being let go from the company. So emotional intelligence is how you harness those difficult times and even positive times, but usually it's referred to difficult times, and how you can turn that into something where you grow from it. So that's it. I'll cut the material there, but I wanted to use this video to hopefully show other introverts out there how we have a lot of similarities with humility and how we can use humility to get ahead in the workplace. And I want to finish off with saying that not all introverts have humility, and not all extroverts lack humility, right? There's plenty of other introverts that I know, especially engineers that I've worked with and gone to school with. And the last thing I'll say is that they have any humility in their bodies, right? Because of the way they act and how confident they are in their skill set. And if someone calls them out, right, they get really defensive. Not exactly the type of person that you would want to work with in a team, right? But when they are left to work on their own, and how productive they are, and how well they can do things when they're working in isolation, right? They do fall into that overall like introverted personality type. On the flip side, right, there's extroverts that are very charismatic, that can carry a conversation, that likes to talk to people, right? But they also know how to listen. They know how to be reflective, and they know how to be open to ideas, right? So there's some extroverts that have humble qualities about them, right? So there's not a hard line. It's a really big or gray area, but this video was to showcase a lot of the overlap between introverts and humility, and how we can leverage that to get ahead in the workplace. So there you have it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment about the video or something that you would like me to make a video on in the future. And I'll see everybody next week. Bye.